Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the not so latest issue of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this video we are going to go through what, in all honesty, what should have happened 5 weeks ago. So, issue 39. Finally, mine has turned up. Although my issue 45 is now missing. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, so issue 39, we're going to go back and have a look at this. So issue 39 came with 2 pots of paint, both of them shade paint. So, first off, we have Wayland Flesh Shade. If you have collected these magazines before, whether you've done Conquest, whether you've done Imperium or Mortal Realms, you will have had Wayland Flesh Shade before. Wayland Flesh Shade obviously is a fleshy shade, so going over things like Korax White, which is what the magazine teaches you to, gives that kind of pinkish skin tone kind of effect. If you do it over things like good old Rakkar Flesh, you can do that as well, and so on and so on and so on. So you can also utilise it over gold. Now, the thing with utilising it over gold, it gives it a nice warm goldy colour. So I was just having a quick nosy to see if I've got any models close to hand to show you that, but yeah, I haven't typically. But if you go back and have a look at the lines of Sigmar minis, I will post a link up in the top right hand corner for one of the painting videos for those. I used Wayland Flesh Shade to shade down that gold armour. That gives it a nice warm kind of feel to it. When you dry brush over a bit more gold back over the top of it, it works very nicely and goes very well. So it's fairly handy to have this shade in your kind of a paint pot. The other shade we get is a Phonian Camo Shade. Now, obviously the name of it, Camo Shade, you instantly think of green, and yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a green shade, so kind of like Beeltan green or Colia green shade, or even Croak green. It's a green shade, so this one's kind of a bit of a dull-ish green-ish kind of colour. Works very nicely. I must admit, I've only ever used it once or twice. I have a pot of it that has sat in a drawer for the last couple of years. Yeah, I don't use it very often, but it's actually fairly handy. Very good for things like Auric Flesh and skin and stuff like that, so works very nicely for things like that. You can even utilise it over things like colours for things like leaves, whether you're doing your Spirit Durthrough or any of your other Sylvaneth. Can work very nicely over that as well. So very good stuff, and happy days. Now, going into the later than usual issue, first off we have the page about the Sylvaneth, funny enough. So, a natural order. So the Sylvaneth are fierce defenders of the natural world, who protect and heal wild places with their might and their magic. Ever watchful for threats to their sacred lands, the Sylvaneth are powerful allies to some and deadly enemies to others. So the Sylvaneth aim to restore nature to the chaos-blasted wastelands. They aggressively protect surviving areas of ancient woods and glades, attacking perceived invaders and defilers of nature with the same fierceness that they use to grind the foul structures of chaos back into the dust. Once the Sylvaneth have retaken an area and purged it of corruption, a process of renewal begins and life returns to even the most desolate places. So, although they are an ally of order, they do sometimes come into conflict with the other forces of order. So for instance, if you look at things like good old Greywater Fastness, the Sylvaneth have attacked the Fastness multiple times because of their utilisation and their industrialisation of the kind of natural area, and they're not exactly big fans of industrialisation, as you can imagine. Think of kind of like your dryads and stuff like that as nature's guardians, shepherds and herders, and they're trying to bring back the correct ecology to the mortal realms. So yeah, happy days. But really cool. Bit more information about the Sylvaneth and a bit more of an understanding of what they're all about, which is pretty cool. We also had the Venom Part 4 story. So Golmrog City Eater finds himself dragged in front of Scragrock Rot the Loon King, when I can learn to speak, who's looking for something entertaining to do. This can only mean trouble for Golmarog, and with only his loyal Stabgrot to help him, will he be able to kick his way out of bother? So, carrying on the story from that section, I must admit I'm not actually 100% caught up on that one. Obviously, continuing that bit, a bit more information. Scragrot also was a character from good old before, the Loon King, and you can get a mini of him. In fact, we should be getting a mini of him with this magazine collection, which is pretty damn cool. So yeah, happy days. Then we get our Sylvaneth collection page. So page 1 for the Sylvaneth collection, all about naming your models and how to utilize your name tables and such like that. So you do get a few cool names that you would generally expect from Sylvaneth, and they sound very mixed elven and Sylvanethy. So whether it's Vithil, Arne, or even Druanti and such like that. So yeah, very kind of along the lines of what you'd expect for everything, having had good old Itari's Guardians and stuff like that, and Durfu and other characters that you've already kind of named and know are named. Then you also have more here, the hero titles and unit names as well, whether they're Wanderers, Wild Hunt, Hunt Pack, Harriers and such like that. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And obviously you can grow your city. So obviously this is Stormbringer magazine. This is all about bringing forth the Stormbringer Crusades, and by the time a city has been established, the military arm of the Stormbringer Crusade will have seen considerable action, and their battle honours continue to mount up as the city grows. Use these tables to see what trials led to the establishment of your city, whether they're Brighthearts, Light Souls, Night Slayers, Orruk Banes, Pure Oaths or Stonefists and such like. You can obviously name them depending on what you roll, and yeah, have a bit of fun with that. It gives you a bit more depth to your potential cities of Sigmar, which obviously you can utilise for the cities of Sigmar army as well, which can, if you are home brewing your faction, which is pretty cool. Then you can also do the same with your war. So whether you are a war for just basically different banners or anything like that, whether you've won great battles against Sylvaneth armies and such like, or whether you won a great battle against Stormcast or Gloomspite Gits, or even a Sigmarite outpost, you can roll for that and name your war and give it some epic history as well as some motivation as well, which is always pretty damn cool. Then you've got a paint guide, so obviously how to utilise your different paints. So as I say, if you are using the good old Athonian camo shade, utilising it over green works very, very nicely, and you just go back over highlighting with your Orruk Flesh and such like again, and yeah, you can get some really, really good paint schemes out of it, and it'll work very well. And as I said earlier about utilising it, the Reikland Flesh shade over gold, this works very, very nicely and gives you that warmth and depth, and it's not just a flat colour. Gold is a very, very kind of interesting colour to utilise, so there is a lot of facets to it. So gold is not one simple colour, so using it over something like that makes it stand out. So utilising it over your good old gold colours, even over yellows and everything like that, changes the complexion of how it looks, makes it look a bit more unique, makes it look very different, and amplifies your mini and takes it to the next level if you were utilising your paint guides. And when you're done, you're going to have something that looks kind of similar to that. It does work very, very well. The paint schemes are very decent, apart from the Hobgrots, which I still disagree with green Hobgrots. They look wrong. Utilise the Xandri Dust, utilise your Hobgrot Hide, or even your Bala Brown. Make your Hobgrots brown. They look far better for it. A bit of variation. You don't want just a mass of just green, because Hobgrots in your kind of painting lore aren't generally green. They are different colours. They are a different race from Grots, and they are a different race from Oryx, so you want them to show something slightly different. Anywho, enough about me moaning about the paint scheme choices for Hobgrots in these pages. Carrying on, you get more rules, obviously, so more rules about battle packs, how to utilise them, whether they're damned, mystical, sinister and such like, over your terrain, how to utilise mysterious terrain as well. So obviously we have had some terrain pieces already, so this is giving you a little bit of information about that, whether you're using arcane terrain, things like the geomantic crystals and such like, or whether you're using damned, which can be things like areas where they've have a damned ability and such like, or whether it's mystical, and much more. Gives you different buffs and changes and everything like that. And then we move on, we have the battle for issue 39, which was our Alliance of Order, the Knight Arcanum, Xandire's Truth Seekers, 5 Vindictors, 5 Vigilers, 6 Gryph-hounds, going up against a Fungoid Cave Shaman, 10 Gut Rippers, 10 Hobgrot Slitters, a second unit of 10 Hobgrot Slitters, 20 Moonclan Shooters, and the Marshcrawler Slogoth, all for a lovely battle. A bit of a scrap over some terrain, put yourself down a couple of bits, have a bit of fun with it, and enjoy yourself. So, happy days. And then, obviously, we moved on to issue 41. I'm not going to go into issue 41 because we've already had issue 41. So, the thing is, though, over the coming issues, going all the way up to issue 60, we know roughly what we're going to get. So we had that battle mat already. We will get the Sigmarite Domicile and the Nexus Siphon. We will also get more Sylvaneth at some point. We will get Squigs. We get good old Loon Smasher Fanatics, which should be this week. We get more Oryx. We get Hadron Overlords. So all really good stuff, some really interesting units as well still to come, and obviously we get new paints. So pretty cool stuff. Happy days. Genuinely enjoying the magazine. Obviously there is a lot more for it to go. We're still only just over halfway through. There is a price increase coming, so if you are leaving the magazine, that is entirely your decision with a price increase. Personally, I am sticking around. Even at £10 per issue, it's still pretty decent value for money, so I'm not going to complain about that. But otherwise, I thank you very much for watching. There will be more videos sometime in the near future, hopefully sooner rather than later, and yeah, enjoy. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.